Our warmest best wishes as we say to all of you, Chag Kasher v'Sameach. We wish you a happy and kosher and festive Pesach, and we are so happy that you are with us here today to celebrate the first day of Passover. We've waited a long time for this festival, and we embrace it with all the spiritual energy that we have. I'm so glad to be joined today by Cantor Varshavsky as we go through a service that hopefully will give you some spiritual uplift that will enable you to feel some of the incredible power, the everlasting power of Passover. So if you have our Shabbat Sidur, Shabbat and Festival Sidur, we're on page 105 where Cantor Varshavsky will begin with Hakel b'tatzumot uzecha.
Hakel b'tatzumot uzecha Agadol b'chol shelecha Hagibar lo netzav v'hanora v'noratecha Hamelech hayoshev al kisei ram v'nisa Shochein ad marom v'kadosh shemo V'chatuv rananu tzavikim b'Adonai la'isharim nava tehila Befi yesharim tidhalal u'v'divrei tzadikim titbarach u'v'lashon hasidim titromam u'v'kerev kidoshim titkahadash u'v'makalot ribevot Amlecha Beit Yisrael שכן חובת כל היצורים לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ולא אבותינו להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפאר, לרומם, להדר, לברך, ללב, לקלס, לכל דברי שירות ותשבחות, דוד בן ישי, עבדך משיחך, ישתבח שמך, לעד מלכנו. ברכות והודות מעתה ועד עולם ברוך אתה אדוני אל מלכותו ותשבחות אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך אלוהי העולמים.
Amen. On page 107, we say together the words of the bracha, Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Yotzer Or Uvorei Choshech Oseh Shalom Uvorei Atakol. Praise are you, Adonai, our God, who rules the universe, creating the light of day and fashioning the darkness of night, ordaining the order of all creation. Amen. Turn with us to page 110. We have brachot that lead us to singing together, chanting together the Shema. On page 110, Le'el Baruch Nimot Yitenu, at the bottom of the page, that last paragraph.
Le'el Baruch Nimot Yitenu le'melech el chai v'kayam zemirot yameinu b'titzupachot yashmiu המחדש בטובו בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית המחדש בטובו בכל יום תמיד מעשה בראשית כאמור יעשה אורים גדולים כאמור יעשה אורים גדולים כי לעולם חזו אור חדש shalet Zion Tair, ונזכחו לו למהר ולאהודו, ברוך אתו אדוני.
Baruch Shemo.
יוצר המאהודו.
Amen. Page 111, this second bracha, which speaks of God's love for us and our love for God, and brings us in spirit to the chanting together of Shema as we gather our tzitzit.
Ahavo Rabo Ahavtanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Emagidol Aviteinu, Chamalta Aleinu, Ahavinu Malkeinu, Ba'avur Avoteinu, Shebatu Becha, Shebatu Becha, Avinu Malkeinu, Vatelamdem Chukei Chaim, Kein Techanenu Tlamdenu, Avinu Avarachama, Rachem Aleinu, V'tein belibeinu lehavin ulahaskel lishmoa, ללמוד וללמד, לשמור ולעשות, ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה, והארנו בתורתך ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבנו יהבה ויראה את שמך, ולא נמוס לעולם ועד, ולא נמוס לעולם ועד, כי בשם קודשך הגדול הנורא אנחנו נגיד לו ונשמחה בישועתך והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ ותולידנו כל מיות לארצנו כי אל פועל ישועות אתה ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון וקרבתנו לשמך ולא נשא באמת להודות לך ולייחדך באהבה ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו
הבוחר במו ישראל באהבה.
Let's all chant together Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadibarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinandam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha v'beitecha ובלכתך ובדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בעיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Let's continue. V'hayam Shmat.
סבתו, מוזות ביסך ובישרך על למען ימיכם ובניכם העד ומה שהשפעה עד למזיכם בססלם כמי השמיים על הארץ.
ויאמר השם דוד
ויאמר אדוני משה לאמור דבר בני שמעת אליהם שולם ציצית על כל פרק תזכרו בסיס יאללה היכם אמס אדוני אלוהיכם
ויציב ונחום וקיים וישב ונאמור
לדור ודור וקיים ושמו קיים וחיסון נכון ומלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיים נחמדים לו עד ולעולמי עולמים על אבותינו ועלינו ועל בנינו ועל דורותינו ועל כל דורות בני ישראל עבודך מלכנו מלך אבותינו גואלנו גואל אבותינו יוצרנו צור ישועתנו הודנו מצלנו מעולם שמך אין אלוהים זולתך.
We're on page 114. When our ancestors left Egypt, it was just a prelude to get to the sea and then from the sea to freedom. And when they got to the sea and they experienced this amazing moment of miracle, what did they sing? Mi chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai.
Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh
Norot tehilot osefele שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמחה שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל ופדנו מלך יהודה וישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גואל ישראל.
Amen. Let's turn to page 123b, where we begin the Amidah for Shacharit of the festival. When we conclude page 123b, we're going to give you some time to go on in our prayers for Shacharit, taking us through in our Siddur to page 128. Cantor?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חטאי האבות, ומתגונן לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושפוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ובוקד אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים, אתה רב להושיע, מחלקת משב הרוח ומוריד השם, מחלקת חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, צהובי נופלים ורופאי חולים,
ומתיר אסורים,
ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עבור מפעמו לגבורו, ומדו מלך מלך ביתי ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
Amen. Please take these moments for your prayers. We have much to pray for. What you're hearing in the background, it's really not Passover when we're doing this. You guys understand that, right? So we have a surprise visit from some of our grandchildren, and Wally, our dog, is going crazy to see the kids because Wally's been quarantined also. So I'm going to close the door to my studio so that we're not disturbed by Wally's barking. But Cantor, are you ready to go on to Hallel?
Yes.
You know, Cantor, so well that when we come to joyous occasions, there are wonderful ways of expressing our joy. We say Chag Sameach, we say Zisim Pesach, and then we say the Psalms of Hallel, which are just designed liturgically and cantorially to lift us all up into a holiday festive mood. So Cantor, I look forward to sharing this with you.
Pleasure to be with you too, Rabbi.
Hallel. And I'm going to, if you don't mind, so Wally doesn't disturb you, I'm going to shut that door.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et hallel.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Abdei Adonai. Hallelujah, et Shem Adonai Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach Me'ata ve'ad olam Mimizrach Shemesh ad Mevorach Mehula Shem Adonai Ram al Kol Goyim Adonai Al hashamayim kevodo, mikadonai Eloheinu, hamagbilah shavet hamashpili lirot bashamayim ubaretz, mekimi me'afar dov, me'ashpad yarim me'vyon, Lehoshivi im nedivei amo Moshivi akeret habayit Eim habonim semecha Hallelujah.
B'tzeit Yisrael.
B'tzeit Yisrael
When Israel went out of Egypt,
Beit Yaakov me'am lo'es B'tzeit Yisrael mi'Mitzrayim Beit Yaakov me'am lo'es Hayta Yehuda Kodsho Yisrael Mamshelav Hayom Rabayanos Hayarden Yisov Leachor Haharim Rakedu Beyelim Gevaot Kinetzon Malecha Hayom Itanus Hayarden Tisov leachor Eharim Irkedu Cheyelim Gevot Even Eitzon Milifnei Adon Chuli Haaretz Milifnei Eloach Yaakov Hahofechi Hatzur Agamayim Chalamish Together Beautiful.
Page 134, you know, Cantor. It says in Psalm 115, let the house of Aaron trust in Adonai. God is their help and their shield. Let those who revere God trust in Adonai. God is their help and their shield. So God is our help from generation to generation. What do we say at the Seder? In every generation they arose up to destroy us, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu Matzilenu Miadam. God saved us from their hands. So we celebrate that eternal connection between the Jewish people and God. So why don't we conclude that Yisrael Batach B'Adonai, and then we'll go on to sing a little bit more, I think.
Sounds great. It's my first virtual duet. This was beautiful.
Okay.
Yisrael Batach B'Adonai Ezramu Maginamu Beit Aharon B'Tchu B'Adonai Ezramu Maginamu Yirei Adonai B'Tchu B'Adonai Ezramu Maginamu Adonai Zicharanu Yevarech Yevarech et Beit Yisrael Yevarech et Beit Aharon Yevarech Yisrei Adonai Haketanim Hagedolim Yosef Adonai Aleichem Aleichem Beruchim Atem Adonai Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz Shamayim L'Adonai Ve'ha'aretz Natan B'nei Adam Lo Ametim Yehalleluya Ve'lo Kol Yordei Duma V'anachnu Nevarech Yah Me'ata Me'ad Olam Me'ad Olam Hallelujah.
Page 135, Ahafti ki yishma Adonai yekol itach Adonai.
Et halech lifnei Adonai be'arzot ha'chaim Hemanti ki adaber ani aniti me'od Ani amarti b'chavesi kol hadam
And now at the bottom of page 135, you know, Cantor, one of the ways in which we show our gratitude to God for life is by sharing our gifts with the world, is giving of ourselves to the world. The psalmist knew about bringing gifts to God, about bringing offerings to God. In our world, I think we bring offerings to God by what we do for humanity. So that is our offering to God, what we do for our fellow human beings.
Amen.
Why don't we look at and sing together L'chazbach?
Lecha zebach toda, v'shem Adonai ekra, nedorai l'Adonai ashalem negdona lechol amo, v'chatzrot beit Adonai b'tochei Yerushalayim, hallelujah.
Page 136. I love this song. Can we sing this together?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be it's going to be a Pesach one.
Okay.
Follow me for the changes.
I will.
Hallelujah. Et Adonai kol goyim shabchu kol homim ki gavar aleinu chasdo ve'emet Adonai leolam. Hallelujah. Oh, do l'Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasdo Yom Marna Yisrael ki leolam chasdo Yom Runa Be'aron ki leolam chasdo Yom Runa Yirei Adonai ki leolam
Min hametza karatiya. In our distress, I called out to God. We are in a time of distress. We all know that. And what an opportunity to use this moment to call out to God for God's help and strength, to gain the resilience that we need to face what we do face, all of us, in our own lives right now. So Min HaMetzah Karatiya, page 136.
Min HaMetzah Karatiya, Anani Ba'amerchaviya. Min HaMetzah Karatiya, Anani Ba'amerchaviya. Anani, Ba'amerchaviya. Anani, Ba'amerchaviya.
Lo emut ki echya, I shall not die but live. Ba'aseh masaya, and tell God's works. Pitchu l'shavei tzedek.
Let's all join together in this beautiful melody by Shlomo Karlebach. Pitchu l'shavei tzedek, ahavo modeya. Pitchu l'shavei tzedek, ahavo modeya. Zeh Adonai Tza'im Yavo Zeh Adonai Tza'im Yavo
137.
Oh, dechachi, yanitani, v'atehi Yeshua. Oh,
ki
Yanitani
v'ha'ili shua
and
masu
Lerosh Pina and Moasu Abonim Lerosh Pina Beit Adonai Hayet Adon
Einenu
Beit Adonai Hayet Adon
Einenu
Ze
Hayom
Adonai
Ilavenis Mitomo
Ze Hayom Adonai Deliver us, Adonai, we implore you. Prosper us, Adonai, we implore you. Ana Adonai Hoshiana. Ana Adonai Hoshiana. Ana Adonai Hoshiana. Ana Adonai Hatzlichana. Ana Adonai Hatzlichana.
Hodu lani kitov kili olam chasdo. Hodu Adonai kitov kili olam chasdo.
כי לך טוב להודות לשמך ולזמר, כי מעולם יד עולם אתה אלה, ברוך אתה אדוני.
Baruch Shemo.
מלך מעולם ותשבחו.
Amen. You know, Cantor,
Yes,
if I'm
Rabbi.
appearing distracted, I am.
Why
Because
is that?
right beyond my desk here is a window, and my grandchildren are standing outside the window making faces at me.
And I thought I was just inspiring you tremendously.
Well, that too. So,
we inspire each other.
Normally, we would be going on to read the Torah, and I just want to, for everybody who's listening, the thousands of people who undoubtedly are watching this, right, and on this Pesach day, you know, Cantor, we'll be reading in the Torah on the first day of Pesach the story of the first Yetziat Mitzrayim, when our ancestors went out. And there was a prelude to it. On the 10th day of Nisan, our ancestors had to take that lamb and get ready to slaughter that lamb on the 14th day of Nisan. So the rabbis asked the question, well, why the 4 days? Why couldn't you just take the lamb on the 14th day of Nisan? Why did you have to take the lamb on the 10th, pachka with it, watch it, feed it, walk a lamb? What, do you walk lambs? I don't know. So
It's a good question.
I'm used to walking Wally. Well, not so used to it. So anyway, so the story is this. The rabbis say the following. They say, God wanted the Israelites to earn the blessing of freedom. And that meant that for 4 days, they had to watch this lamb. They had to take care of that lamb, make sure nothing happened to that lamb. But even more significantly, for 4 days, they had to take the scorn of the Egyptians who hated the Israelites for taking that lamb. Taking that lamb was a sign that, God, Egyptians, we're not afraid of you anymore. Yeah. We're not your slaves anymore. We are Israelites, And we're showing you, this is our declaration of independence. We're going to take this animal, which you consider an abomination, and we're going to slaughter this on the 14th day. And what it says to me is that God would not bestow freedom on a community that was passive. That it would require, freedom would always, then and always, a national effort. Each Israelite, each family in a common cause. And when you think about it, when you think where we're at right now, it's kind of the same thing.
Very
Great
similar, yeah.
national projects begin with individuals making grand commitments. And what do we have happening in our country right now? All right, so we're not taking the lamb, obviously. But all over their country, there are people who are doing these extraordinary acts of heroism and courage. The people who are in the hospital, the healthcare professionals. God, where would we be without them? That is that front line. They are making their statement that we are more powerful than this disease. They are the only thing separating us from disaster. But then we have the people who are still preparing the foods, growing the foods, packing the foods, delivering the foods, making sure we have light in our homes, making sure the electricity grids are going, making sure that aside from the fact we're quarantined, we're probably the luckiest people in the course of human history to be quarantined. Except, of course, we have to worry greatly about the people who are suffering from this illness. But those of us who are not, we have nothing to complain about. If this illness has not touched our lives, quarantining is a small price to pay to be a part of this national effort to make sure that we get rid of this thing as soon as possible, that it passes over and passes by us before too many more people are hurt and God forbid, too many more people are lost. If we do like the Israelites did, each one of us, what we can do, we will earn our future. That's what the Israelites did. They earned their freedom in those 4 days. And if we do that, as they did that, we will see a better day. I hope that people will take time to read Exodus 12. It is the formative chapter of our history. It's the night we became a people. It's the time that we went from something of a nation of slaves, but we said, you know what, this is not going to be our condition forever. So this year we're confined to our homes, but we'll earn this freedom. We'll earn it, and the people who are saving our lives will earn it, and everyone in America and throughout the world will earn it together. And may that happen. Bimhei Rabbi, Amen, speedily in our day. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I know some of you are going to say, I can't, you know, I have this thought. So we're going to do this service in probably about an hour and maybe 10 minutes. So you can imagine the first day back in shul, when we get back into shul, people are going to say to us, well, you did Pesach in an hour and 10 minutes, you know? Why can't you do Shabbos in an hour? So, this is
because we have a lot more to be thankful for when we're in person.
Exactly.
That's
and this is a mixed blessing. Running through this as we're doing it sets us up for many, many questions afterwards. But I'd like for us to say a prayer for the state of Israel, as we always do. Avinu Shabbat It's on page 149. And then I want to offer Misha Beirach for all those who are ill. Cantor, if you would.
Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Zu Yisrael v'Goalo. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Zu Yisrael v'Goalo. Barech, barech, et Medinan Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulatenu, Hagen Aleha Behemrat Chazdecha, Uferos Aleha Sukat Shelomecha. Avinu, Avinu, שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו. אבינו, אבינו, שבשמיים, צור ישראל וגואלו.
Avinu Shabbat Rock and Redeemer of the people Israel, bless the state of Israel with its promise of redemption. Shield it with your love, spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them, crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with joy. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
And a prayer for our country, for our United States of America. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings for our country, for its government, for its leaders and advisors, for all who exercise just and rightful authority. We ask your blessings upon all Americans who together bear this burden. And we ask your blessings, O God, on those who need your strength to lead us in the fight against this disease. Teach them insights from your Torah, that they may be empowered and inspired to fight this battle together. Bless all the inhabitants of our country with your spirit, God, because we need it. May citizens of all races and creeds forge at long last a common bond in true harmony, banishing the hatred and the bigotry and safeguarding the ideals and free institutions that are the pride and glory of our country. May this land, O God, be an influence always for good throughout the world, uniting people in peace and freedom, helping them to fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they experience war anymore. Amen.
Amen.
We want to offer a prayer for all of those who are ill in our families, our friends, in this global community that we feel so much a part of now as we watch the numbers on the screen every day. How many people are sick throughout the world? How many have passed away? How many in America? The world has contracted mightily in these last few weeks. And so we feel deeply the agony, the distress, as we feel the hopes and the dreams of everyone as we face this together. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessing and healing to all of those who suffer, wherever they may be, in our family, in our community, in our world. May you, O God, give them strength, granting them physical and spiritual well-being. Guide our researchers, guide our scientists, our doctors, our nurses, all of those who bring us the possibility of life and defeating this virus. And we pray that for all of those, their healing is at hand. Amen.
Amen. Well,
so I'm going to deliver a few words of a sermon now. It's not a few words, you know.
I was just going to say, Rabbi, I'm loving doing this. This is a new experience, and it's such an honor for me to sing with you and to pray with all of you who are watching. But what service, even a mock service of the MJC, would be properly fulfilled without a fantastic devar from Rabbi Klein. So I'm going to step aside for a quick moment.
And how can I start one without taking a drink first?
Exactly. So it's just like we're at shul.
Except on Yom Kippur. Except on Yom Kippur. Okay. Thank you, Cantor.
Thank you.
Dear friends, never in our lifetime has there ever been a year when we have needed the Passover story told, and told with a real meaning. Never more than this year. This year, our story of Passover is actually a global story. Our sages tell us that we are to begin the Passover Haggadah by recalling the indescribable agony of our people, their tears, their fears, their heartbreak, their distress. And then we join them in making the journey to freedom, to light, to life. Throughout my life, I have always taught that the Haggadah tells us, as it says, as you've read, that the Seder is designed to transport us to a place where we feel that we are enslaved, that we are there. That's what the Haggadah wants us to do. But I must tell you, although I have tried all these years, I have failed to sit at the Seder and really place myself in the mindset of our ancestors. I never succeeded at it. Who could? But this year is different. This Pesach is different. We live with uncertainty. We live with fears and anxieties. Will we have enough food? Will our family be well? What about our children, our grandchildren? Do we go out to the store, not go out to the store? The answer is don't. Will we have what we need financially to go on in life? Will our finances be okay? What about next year? Will we be able to resume life as we knew it? Will I be able to take care of my family? These are the concerns of slaves. But they're now our concerns. We are back in Mitzrayim. For these weeks, for these months, we are back in Mitzrayim. When I open the Haggadah, what inspires me is that it is a redemptive story. Our ancestors left Mitzrayim. B'tzeit Yisrael mi Mitzrayim. The story of our ancestors leaving Egypt is told and retold not because it was a singular event, but because it brought to our people and through us to the whole world for all time our belief in a story, in the possibility, the probability of redemption from distress. Out of suffering, a people was born. Out of the darkness of Egypt, there was a day which followed. A curse gave way to a blessing, a crisis as we know it, one day will leave us. And it will leave humankind mourning our losses, which have been too many. And then I hope, I pray, leaving us different, leaving us resolving to love, to care, to be kinder, more compassionate than we've been to before. We have learned how much we cherish and care about every person. And we need to make sure we never forget that message. The Passover story, we all know, does not conclude in darkness. Darkness is a plague they experienced. But after that, there was light and liberation, and that's what we celebrate on this first day of Passover, this 15th day of Nisan. This is a powerful day in our tradition. Zeh Hayom, this day was given to us so that we could believe, not just the Jewish people, but yes, us primarily, but that all people could believe that impossibility is not going to stop what we might think is improbable. The improbable can come to pass. Miracles are possible, not just for the Israelites and not just for the Jewish people, but to all people, today and throughout time. Our ancestors, our people held on to that truth very tightly. It sustained them through every expulsion, every pogrom, It sustained them in the times when our temples in Jerusalem were destroyed, through every massacre in the concentration camps, in the Warsaw Ghetto. This story of Passover offered them the belief in redemption. It offered them the belief that hope, yes, does become a new reality. And that hope was essential for spiritual survival. We need this story today. Passover is our story. Passover is our message to the generations of Jews, and it's our message to this world that needs this story. We will not remain in this plague of darkness forever. The fear will recede, families will be reunited, isolation and distance will hopefully have enlightened us to appreciate more than we ever have the preciousness of the family, of the people that are in our family life. The Seders this year, which are so lonely in so many ways, will hopefully infuse within us an embrace for the importance of our tradition. I have a feeling that as difficult as this Passover is going to be with people, that as difficult as it is to sit at Seder tables that have maybe one or two people, it is paradoxically going to make us understand the importance of our tradition in a way we haven't before. We're going to understand that what happens when we are lost, that we don't have our tradition, we feel lost. When we don't have our family celebrating our tradition together, we feel lost. But we can find our way back to our tradition. That's what Passover asks of us and invites of us. In the haze of grief and loss, lost loved ones, lost opportunities, lost wages, lost job security, lost savings, lost college graduations, postponed b'nai mitzvah, we still lift up the kos of Eliyahu, the cup of Elijah, believing in humankind's ability to be redeemed from this crisis. This Passover, my friends, I pray that we can hold tight to this belief of redemption. Born on this day, the world never knew of redemption before the 15th day of Nisan. And the world will never forget the concept of redemption. Will forever believe in it because of the 15th day of Nisan. That is the Jewish gift to the world, and it's the Jewish gift to ourselves. Our belief is that the arc of history bends to a better tomorrow. But not if we're passive, and not if we just let tomorrow happen. We have to make that better tomorrow. That's why, my friends, we must share with our children and their children this story of Passover. May it be a Passover of love, a love which is stronger than the distance that separates us. May it be a Passover of hope, a Passover which fuels our never, ever dying belief that the next year we will be in Yerushalayim, L'shana haba Yerushalayim, the Jerusalem of families united, the Jerusalem of bonds of love stronger than ever, the Jerusalem in a world made kinder and more compassionate because we understand how much we need each other, a Jerusalem that is the Jerusalem of redemption. I wish for all of us Aziz and Pesach, and I pray that in the passage of days, we will find redemption coming to one and all throughout the world, starting in our homes and radiating out from there. Amen. The cantor is in white now. He's wearing a kittel. because this is a very special, special time. On Passover, we offer a prayer for tal, for dew. Now, we're not talking about ourselves here. It's not a prayer for dew here in the North America. It's a prayer for dew in Israel, where the dry season has begun. And what I thought about dew, Cantor, is this. Dew, you can't see it as it's coming down, really. But when you wake up, you see it on the ground. And I think of dew as it says in the prayer, it's a blessing. And sometimes you don't see what happens to a blessing after you've done it. Sometimes you don't see the effect of doing a mitzvah until way after it's done. But Tal reminds us that some of the most important things that we do to sustain this world are not seen and understood by us initially, but they yield a blessing that indeed does bring life to people and to the world in which we live. So we're going to turn to page 217, where we begin our Musaf service with the Avot and Imahot, as we begin our blessings for Tal, our prayer for Tal, for dew, which then continues from 217 over to 219. So let's be led by our cantor. You're muted. Now I hear you.
Now I'm unmuted.
Okay.
Tal and Geshem has a special nusach for which we will chant right now. It's related to the nusach of Ne'ilah on high holidays, the same idea that life and death is in the water, and that we have to be very, very careful to enjoy it, and thank God for that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Hanodol Hagibor Hanoda El Elyon Gomer Chasodim Tovim Mekonei HaKol V'zocher Chazdei Avot Umeili Goel Livnei B'neihem Leman Shemo V'Yahavo Melech Ozer Upoked Umoshia Umogein Baruch Atah Adonai Magin Abraham Upoked Tzara
Amen.
Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechayim Timata Raham Lehoshia.
Page 219.
I think, Rabbi, we'll just do the first verse of Tal together in this abbreviated virtual service. And I would like to take just a quick moment and sing this beautiful phrase. Sit back, relax, enjoy, follow the words together. This is an excerpt from Cantor Yossele Rosenblatt's famous composition, Tal. Tal, tal, taltein, nirtzot artzach, shiseinu veracha, veracha beditzach, tal, tal, taltein, nirtzos artzach, shiseinu veracha, veracha beditztecha, rov dagan, rosh ve'afritzach komeim 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 Ir bochevtzecha, ir bochevtzecha betal.
Dew, precious dew, the good year's crowned we await, that earth in pride and glory may be fruited, that the city once so desolate into a gleaming crown may be transmuted by dew. Dew, precious dew, let fall upon the land, from heaven's treasury be this accorded. So shall the darkness by a beam be spanned, the faithful of your vineyard be rewarded with dew. Dew, precious dew, to make the mountains sweet, the savor of your excellence recalling. Deliver us from exile, we entreat, so that we may sing your praises softly falling as dew. Dew, precious dew, our granaries to fill, and all our youthful excesses pardon. Beloved God, uplift us at your will, and make us richly watered garden with dew. Dew, precious dew, that we may reap our harvest, and guard our fatted flocks and herds from leanness. Behold, our people follow you like sheep, and look to you to give the earth her greenness with dew. Shata.
Shatahu Adonai Eloheinu, Mashiv haruach u'morid hator. Livracha ve'lo litzala. Amen.
Amen.
L'chaim ve'lo lemavet.
Amen.
Lesova, Melo,
So may the dew be for a blessing and not a curse, for life and not for death, for abundance and not for famine. Amen. Let's continue on page 166b.
Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, B'chayim Meitim Berachamim Rabim, Tzomei Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunah, Nishenei Gevurot, Melech Memid U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'nemonato lehachayot meitim, Ata Adonai
Hoshimo.
Mechayei hameitim.
Amen. Cantor, we'll give everyone a few moments to continue on with the Musaf, continuing page 168, and then we'll go actually page 170, through the conclusion, which you'll find on page 178, 170 to 178.
זמן חירות למקר קורר זכר ליציאת מצרים. ואת מוסף יום חג המצות הזה נעשה בנפלבנם מפי חלותיך כאמור. מלך רחמן רחם עלינו תמיד נשאר. בחג המצות, ובחג השבועות, ובחג הסוכות.
Cantor, how about we lead the congregation? You lead, I'll join, and everyone will join with us. Ein Keloheinu, page 182.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Adonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, No del Eloheinu, No del Adonenu, No del Malkeinu, No del Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shektiru, Avoteinu, Le'onecha et Ketoret Hasamim. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, Latei gedula leoseh Bereshit, Shelo asanu kigoyei aratzot, Velo samanu kimishpechot adama, Shelo sam chelekeinu kahem, Vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, V'anachnu koreim u'mishtabim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ki hamalchut shelecha hi u'me'atim lo b'chavod ka'kotub b'toratecha. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai le'melech kol ha'aretz. Hayom hahu Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad. Rabbi, I think everybody's heard enough of my singing. Do you want to close us out with an Adon Olam leading everybody?
I assumed you had a wonderful Passover melody for Adon Olam. Do you? You want to do something?
I was going to sing V'samachta b'chagecha afterwards. So I think we'll let everybody have a more traditional Adon Olam.
How about, but only if you'll do it with me. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Livra Adon
Olam
Nasa
B'chevso Kol
Azai Melech Shemo Nikro
Adon Olam
B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Leit Nasa B'chevso Kol Azai melech
Shemo
nikro Adon Olam v'acharei kichlot hakol leva'ado yimloch nora Adon Olam v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara Adon Olam v'hu echad v'yein sheni Leham shelo lehachbira Adon Olam beli reishi beli tachli velo ha'oz v'hamisra Adon Olam v'hu eli v'chai goali v'tzor chevli b'yitzara Adon Olam v'hu nisi u'manosli Menat kosli v'yomekra Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa B'chefso kol Azai melech Shemo nikra
Adon Olam
B'yado Avki ruchi B'yeti sham b'yira
Adon Olam
V'yimruchi
Yeviati
Adonai li v'lo ira Adon Olam
Adon Olam
Asher
Malach
B'terem kol Yitzir Nivra B'chefso kol
Nasa
Azai
melech Shemo nikra Adon Olam.
I'd like to offer everyone this blessing, which is an everlasting blessing. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. We pray that God will bless you and guard you. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'yuchonecha. May God shine His light upon you, upon all of us, and upon this world, and be gracious and good to us. Isa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God show us kindness, and may He grant us all the peace, the shalom, the restoration of peace in our lives. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Cantor. Yashikoach.
Yashikoach to you, Rabbi. It's a pleasure doing this. First virtual service.
Yeah.
Why don't we sing V'samachta b'chagecha to lead everybody out to a nice yontif meal. V'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita sameach v'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita sameach v'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita sameach v'samachta b'chagecha v'hayita sameach
So everybody, Yashikoach Cantor, I know you've got to do another one of these. Yashikoach. Everybody, we wish you a sweet Pesach, a Zisen Pesach, and we really hope and pray that in the days ahead and the weeks ahead, we're going to taste the sweetness of life in all its many, many ways. And that next year will be the Yerushalayim, will be in the Jerusalem in which love and closeness will be restored to our lives. Amen. So have a Chag Sameach, a Chag Kasher Sameach, a Zisen Pesach. Cantor, I'll see you on Zoom.
Sei gesund, Rabbi. Yasser
Sei
Koach.
gesund,
Guten Pesach,
everybody.
everybody. Es ist